Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Today we will be continuing from where we last left off. Madhya, chapter 1, text 198 onwards, but we will just read 197 just to recap ourselves and then we will proceed forward. Right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Just a moment. All right, so this is where we left off, I think more than 2 months ago, almost, I think 3 months ago. And we will start off from here. Rūpa Goswami and Sanātana Goswami, they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is what they said. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going through that way. In fact, later on we will find out he was going through that part of Bengal only to see Rūpa and Sanātana. Mleccha jati mleccha sevi kori mleccha karma go brahmana drohi sange amara sangama. Actually, we belong to the caste of meat eaters because we are servants of meat eaters. Indeed, our activities are exactly like those of the meat eaters. Because we always associate with such people, we are inimical to the cows and brahmanas. So this is a we have gone at length on this, but I will just um, say another point about this. So we have to be very careful whom we serve, especially even in professional circles, when many devotees, they work outside, and when they do, they have to serve bosses, their bosses, who are meat eaters, and they may even promote meat eating in one way or another sometimes. And their activities, they are, because they're all, I mean, meat eaters means chandala mlecha, you are what you eat. So accordingly, the habits, the association of such people is very contaminating. Their habits, we think, in order to fit into that, um, association, we adopt their methods, their habits, their mannerisms, their way of talking, their way of thinking. Because ultimately, it's the mind that we're battling, our own mind. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be the best of friends or the worst of enemies. 6th chapter, 5th and 6th verses. So we have to use our mind to elevate ourselves and not degrade ourselves. But when we are in this association of meat eaters, then all our activities will be like that. And you see, because we associate, they are saying, because we associate with such people, we are inimical toward the cows and brahmanas. Actually, at heart, they are not inimical. They're not inimical towards Go Brahmana. But because they're associating with such people and, kind of in agreement with them and kind of sitting with them and being friends with them, I am implicated in their droha. You see, their Go Brahmana drohi sange, amara sangam. So, Go Brahmana drohi sangha, they are against cow protection in Brahmanical culture. And if I am intimately associated with them, then I am also partaking in that droha. So this is an important point to note, and especially when we're dealing with this world, we may have, of course, we have to treat everybody like a gentleman. We have to be gentlemen in our dealings with this world, but we should not have intimate dealings with those who are not in the devotional fold, and this is what is meant by asatsanga tyaga. And in the Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami also says two times in the NOI 2 and NOI 3, Nectar of Instruction 2 and 3 verses. What did he say? Let's see if you got it right. Okay. Atyahar prayasascha prajalpo niyamagra janasanga. These are the 6 things which will decrease our devotion, and janasanga is one of them. So this janasanga means association with worldly minded people. And in the next one, in the 6 things that we have to accept in order to, these are the 6 things that we have to reject, the one we have just seen. Atyahara prayasascha, prajalpo niyamagraha, janasangascha, laulyamcha. So anyway, I think, you know what, we will read that translation so that the 6 things that we need to give up are understood by everyone, because I'm just expecting everyone to understand the Sanskrit there. So see, one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required for personal sense gratification. For Krishna, we have to collect unlimitedly and use it unlimitedly, not hoard it. We have to collect unlimitedly, but use it also unlimited in Krishna's service. Number 2, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Oh, having some aspirations in this world. Oh, I want to become this, I want to become that. What for? What for? Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Maybe it's obtainable, maybe, and people may laud you for that. But what is the use? For example, Elon Musk. I'm just saying. He created this rocket and it was going up and coming down, and people are clapping. Wow, this is like future. We are living in the future now. It's all sci-fi. It looks like sci-fi, science fiction. 1 second. So they lot. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is like the frontier of humanity." But it does take a lot of intelligence to do something like that. We're not denying. But over endeavoring for mundane objectives, mundane things are very difficult to obtain. Why? Because we have to be concerned. We have to be concerned with that which is the highest aim of human life. And what is that? The highest aim of human life is to go back to Godhead. That is the real journey. What is the use of going to Mars and coming back or dying there? We're not going to escape death. That is what we have to escape. Human life is meant for that, to escape death. That means, of course, this death we will go through. But the next birth and death cycle, we have to stop it. So now, eating more than necessary, collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Number 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, prajalpa. This is also associating with janasanga, actually, because in fact, all these 6, the 5 are because of janasanga. Other than janasanga, the other 5 was because of janasanga, primarily. Talking about unnecessary subject matters. Unless we listen to unnecessary subject matters, why will we feel the need to speak about unnecessary subject matters? And these unnecessary subject matters, who speak about these things? Non-devotees. So we are associating with non-devotees, and that's why we want to speak about unnecessary subject matters. Now, 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 2 things, niyama agraha, niyama agraha. So, either not following enough or too much following. What is too much following? Following to the point that I don't even understand why I'm following, and actually it contradicts, or it proves to be an obstacle. It proves to be an obstacle in the actual attainment of the real aim of life. Rules and regulations are there to enable us to attain the aim of life, which is Krishna Prema. But when I follow certain rules and regulations which inhibit my progress in Krishna consciousness, why am I following them? So, what is the right proportion of following or not following? Because there are so many rules in even the Vedic literature. Srila Prabhupada did not ask us to follow all of them. He gave us some, which are most essential in this Kali Yuga, in this present day and age, and those we have to follow. If we can follow anything more, not jeopardizing our Krishna consciousness, yeah, well and good. But if our following actually inhibits our Krishna consciousness, then we have to give up. So, 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, janasanga. 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. This also, being greedy for mundane achievements, we will not be greedy for mundane achievements unless we are inspired by those who are greedy for mundane achievements, who are non-devotees. Non-devotees are always greedy for mundane achievements, those who are driven. So if we are inspired by them, if we take them as the role models, yeah, then we will also be greedy after mundane achievements, and we will also not take the scripture seriously, or all this is wrong association. Because sangat sanjayate kamaha. From sangha, from our association, we develop our desires. Whether it is wanting to speak about something, wanting to follow something, wanting to not follow something, wanting to aspire for something, all these things are coming from association. So important. Therefore, NOI2, the things that decrease our devotion. Number 5 is janasanga. Okay. Now, things that are to be accepted. 6 things to be accepted. What are they? It's interesting that giving up, what is that? Asatsanga is one of the things that is to be accepted. You see, उत्साहान् निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्तेः षड्भिर्भक्तिः प्रसिद्ध्यति. You see this sangatyagat? Mind you, this is the list of 6 things to be accepted. And tyaga means to give up. So that giving up of sangha, worldly minded people, is to be accepted. That means this prohibition of don't associate with non-devotees, that is there in the things that are to be rejected and things that are to be accepted. Things that are to be rejected, don't associate with non-devotees. Things to be accepted, accept the principle of not associating with non-devotees. So twice it is mentioned, everything else is to be accepted here. Utsahan, nischayat, and what is that? You see, utsaha, enthusiasm, nischayat, confidence, dhairyat, Patience. What is his confidence? Confidence in who? Yes, I can do it. No, 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 that stupid confidence. That is overconfidence. Actually, that's not overconfidence, that is misplaced confidence. If we have confidence in ourselves, that is useless. Why are we so confident? We have made the mistake millions and trillions of times in this world, in this life, I mean, in this material world, for millions of lifetimes, and still we are here. Confidence in what? Confidence in the process of devotional service given by the acharyas, confidence in the protection of Krishna, confidence in the shelter of the spiritual master, confidence in the association of devotees. That is the confidence we should have. And enthusiasm, we should have that, interest, hunger to serve Krishna, enthusiastic. Despite, what is that, challenges that may come our way, we should be enthusiastic in our devotional service. Confidence in the protection of Krishna, in the association of devotees, in the shelter of the spiritual master. In the order of the spiritual master, we should have the confidence. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ordered Prabhupada to go and preach in the Western countries. If I don't have confidence in the order of the spiritual master, if Prabhupada did not have confidence, Prabhupada always has. Like the other disciples, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's other disciples like Bon Maharaj and such people, they did not have confidence. They thought, how can we, survive, or how can we preach? They are not so pious and this and that. Prabhupada became successful because he had confidence. Ekeha Kurunandana. He was fixed on the order of the spiritual master. Somehow or other, by the mercy of my spiritual master, it will happen. He just went forward. So against all odds, the impossible became possible. So, Sangatyagat sato vrittehi shadbhir bhaktehi prasidhyati. Dhairyat means patience. Not immediately things will happen. Oh, I have surrendered to Krishna. Yes, tomorrow Krishna will make all arrangements for me. No. He will wait. He will want to see how much patient you are. So we have to cultivate patience. So things don't happen immediately, because it's one thing. Of course, Krishna is more eager than us to bring us back to Godhead than we are in going back to Godhead. Krishna is of course more eager, but that does not mean that we show the slightest interest and immediately, yay, Krishna will get us back to Godhead. No, because he wants to ensure that we have complete disgust for this material world and complete faith in Krishna. So he reciprocates with us in such a way that he will increase our taste first and then present as a challenge. The taste that we have acquired will allow us to ply through that challenge, to go through that challenge, and without falling down, without falling back. And this is explained actually in the first canto, 6th chapter, if I'm not wrong. Narada Muni, I may not remember the number properly here. No. One second. In the first canto, 6th chapter, Narada Muni explains that the Lord appeared before him once in his heart. And after that, how much ever he tried, he could not get that vision of the Lord. And then the Lord actually speaks to him. Without coming in front of him, he just speaks to him. Okay, here. 1619, what is that? Yeah. Okay, let's see. These few verses we will read, alright? Okay, 1616. said here, as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down from my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. So here he's saying, this is, remind you, Narada Muni, in his previous life, as a boy, as a son of a maid servant, he associated, his mother was serving some traveling Paramahamsas, Bhaktivedantas, and you know, he was also helping her. And then in that way, he ate their remnants of food, and that's how his heart became like them. And of course, he heard them speak as well. And eventually, his mother passed away by a snake bite. And then he started meditating on the Lord after having heard all this from those devotees. Now, as he was meditating, the Lord actually appeared to him in his heart. Okay? Then what happened? प्रेमातिभर निर्भिन्न पुलकांगोति निर्वृतः आनंद संप्लवे लीनो नापश्यम् उभयम् मुने. O Vyasadeva, Narad Muni is actually narrating this whole incident to his disciple Vyasadeva. O Vyasadeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could see neither myself nor the Lord. Spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies have no mundane comparison. Therefore, it is very difficult to give expression to such feelings. We can just have a glimpse of such ecstasy in the words of Sri Narada Muni. So you see, of course, to Narada Muni, the Lord appeared. But if we see in our own lives, there have been moments where Krishna has inspired us so much, and we feel this, reciprocation from Krishna, and we have this, we may have some spiritual feeling, a happiness that Krishna is there, and he's listening and he's reciprocating, and that is, why Krishna does that. It's not because we are advanced or what. It's because Krishna wants to give us a taste of that spiritual feeling, just a glimpse. Because we are trying to come back to him, he will just give a little glimpse. And that is what exactly Bhagavad Gita says, Param Drishtva Nivartate, that higher taste of life, that higher happiness. Having once experienced that, we will never want to turn back. Even if we did turn back, that memory of that happiness will bring us back to Krishna. That's how Krishna pulls us back towards him. Now next he's saying, Rūpam bhagavato yattan manah kantam suchapaham apashyan sahasotasthe vaiklavya durmana iva. The transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing sight of that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. So he was looking at that form of the Lord in his meditation, and suddenly it disappeared. Suddenly the form disappeared, and he was very disturbed, and he was as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. And if we have a lot of money and then we suddenly lose it, we become so distraught. That is just like a comparison given, but actually the same feeling intensified by maybe 100,000 times is the feeling Narad Muni was actually feeling. But in order to give a comparison to what we can understand, something like money, if we lose, how we feel. But it is far more intense with the Lord. So that happened. Then 1619. Didrikshustadaham bhuyah pranidhaya manohridi vikshamaanopi napashyam avitrupta ivaturaham aturaha, aggrieved. What is that? I desire to see again that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. Very important thing here. He tried so hard to again see that Lord with all his attempts to concentrate. but he could not see him anymore. That means, what is that? What is it? Nayamatma pravachanena labhya न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन यमैवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यस् तस्यैष आत्मा विवृणुते तनुं स्वाम. Unless we can endeavor in all kinds of ways, whether meditation on the Paramatma feature, or hearing about him, chanting his name, engaging in his service. We can do all we want. What Narad Muni was doing in his previous life was not something out of Bhakti Yoga. He was doing Bhakti Yoga. He was meditating not on some impersonal void, he was meditating on the form of the Lord in the heart. So, Bhakti, if we do, we are taught, I mean, this is what we always taught, that the only way to get to Krishna is Bhakti. But here, Narad Muni was doing Bhakti, and yet Krishna did not appear. And he was aggrieved. How could Krishna see his devotee trying so hard for him, and yet not come before him and see him aggrieved? How is that possible? I mean, how Krishna is hard-hearted? Well, Krishna definitely knows how to play himself difficult to get. That's for sure. Okay, 1620. Evam yatantam vijane mam aha gocharo giram gambhira shlakshnaya vacha shuchah prashamayan iva. Seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. So, he, without appearing before him, he spoke to him. What did he speak? Let's see what he spoke. Hantasmin janmani bhavan mamam drashtumiharhati avipakva kashayanam dudarshoham kuyoginam. Wow. Very important verse. Kuyoginam, incomplete in service. So, O Narada, the Lord said, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Look at that statement. How heartbreaking that must be. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. What is he saying? He's saying, Narada Muni, you are still incomplete in your service. You are trying your best to see me, but in this lifetime of yours, you will not see me anymore. This is where Utsahan Nishchayat Dhairyat comes in. Because Dhairya means patience here. Dhira. Has to be patient, fortitude. This is patience. That's what we read in the Shikshashtaka every morning. What did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teach us? Ashlishva padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha what is it? Yatha tatha lampato matprananathastu sayavanapara. I forget this. Yeah. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato. So, see. Shashtaka 8. Yeah. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu. Let him do. Lampata matprananatha satu sa evanaparaha. Ashlishya means embracing with great pleasure. Va padaratam, who have fallen at the lotus feet. Pinashtu, let him trample. Adarshanat, by not being visible. So this is the prayer that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, and in this lifetime you will not see me anymore. I mean, Narad Muni at that time in his life was a small boy. He would have had a long lifetime. And the Lord said, you're not going to see me anymore. Now, should he be depressed with that, or should he be actually enthusiastic and patient and endeavoring with determination? So the second, he should endeavor with determination. So when we start off in our Krishna consciousness, sometimes it happens that we experience intense happiness sometimes. That does not mean we are very advanced. That means Krishna is giving us just that glimpse that will keep us uh, chasing him. That will actually purify us. So those who are incomplete, the Lord says, in their service and who are not completely free from material taints can hardly see me. Sakridyaddarshitam rupam etat kamayate nagha matkamah shanakaihi sadhuh sarvan munchati hrichayan. This is the real reason. O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me. Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. This is what Krishna wants. So Krishna is more than eager, and he not just is eager, but he knows exactly how to bring us back. When in separation, thinking of that, now actually, on another level, this is an illusion. Because when the Lord said that, you know what, you're not going to see me anymore in this lifetime, there is two ways a person can go after that. He can feel like, whoa, the Lord is so cruel. I'm not going to be with the Lord. But that does not happen because he's already seen him once. So the second option is, the second way this can go is, he will now have that intense feeling of separation from the Lord. And that is actually more blessing than meeting the Lord, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to us in his Ramananda Samvad, conversation with Ramananda Rai, in the Madhya Lila 8th chapter. You will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking questions and Ramananda Rai answering him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, what is the highest goal of life? Then, he goes step by step by step. And finally he goes to Gopi Bhava, and then even higher. And then Ramananda Rai says this Vipralambha Bhava. The service in separation is the highest ecstasy. So, although the Lord said, you will not see me anymore, that is actually even higher ecstasy than even seeing him. That's the absolute nature of the Lord. His presence and absence are one. There's no difference between his presence and absence. If anything, his absence is even more intense than his presence. So his presence, or in other words, his presence is more intensely felt when he's absent. Actually, cannot be absent. But the more we become Krishna conscious, the more he's present in our hearts. So that's what seeing Krishna is not the solution for our problem, because we are seeing Krishna everywhere. I mean, look at this whole world. How can we not see Krishna? That is the vision of the pure devotee. The more and more we become devotee, we understand that actually Krishna is everywhere. Vasudeva sarvamiti. Sarvamiti Vasudeva. But we don't have that feeling. So a pure devotee, he knows Vasudeva sarvamiti. So Vasudeva is everywhere. But why do we not see him then? Is he absent? He's absent in our heart. The moment he is present in our heart, then we will see that he is present everywhere. And I think I've shown this many times. Padhyavali 240. Sangama viraha vikalpe varamiha viraho na sangamantasya ekah sa eva sange tribhuvanamapi tanmayam virahe. Krishna viraha, Krishna's feelings of separation. Separation from Krishna is better than meeting him. When I meet him, there is only one Krishna in front of me. But when I am separated from him, the three worlds become filled with Krishnas. स्थावर जंगम देखे ना देखे तार मूर्ति. स्थावर जंगम देखे ना देखे तार मूर्ति, सर्वत्र होय निज इष्टदेव स्फूर्ति. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. So he sees the Lord everywhere. Wherever he's seeing, yes, he sees those forms, but then he sees his Lord there. So the Lord is everywhere. Just like Hiranyakashipu asked, where is where is that Lord who you always chant his name? Where is he? Why is he hiding? Where is he? He says he's everywhere. Prahlad says. Everywhere he is. In fact, before Hiranyakashipu was born, when Kashyapa Muni impregnated Diti in the evening, in the inauspicious time, Kashyapa Muni was obliged to do so because Diti was so pressed by lust. She forced Kashyapa Muni to have union with her, and Kashyapa Muni obliged. But then after the act, Kashyapa Muni told her, see, you have forced me to do this at the wrong time, and Lord Shiva, along with his associates, they roam around, for people doing sexual acts in the wrong time, in Sandhya time and such times, and then he will enable one of the ghostly or dangerous characters to enter into the womb of such a woman. And then he said, you have twins in your womb, without any CT scan or nothing. Immediately after conception, he told, we're not waiting after 6 weeks to tell, immediately, because this is yogic power. So he said, in your womb are twins, and they are the most horrible creatures in the universe. They'll be most sinful and everything. They'll be against women and cows and the Brahmanical culture and everything. But the grandson, your grandson Prahlad, will be such a great devotee that when others, big yogis, they meditate on the Lord in the heart, he actually sees him everywhere. That will be your grandson. You will see how much Kashyapa Muni already told prediction, and Prahlad Maharaj came out to be that. So this is the stage at which pure devotees operate. We don't have that. We think that Krishna is not here. Krishna is in Golok Vrindavan. But actually Krishna is in Golok Vrindavan and here also. But we cannot see him because he is absent in our hearts. That's the real problem. So going back, the more you will be freed from material desires, the more you think of me. Hanker for me. Hanker. That thirst. Laulyam. That greed for Krishna. That hunger for Krishna. That is what he wants to instill in Narada Muni. And Satsevaya dirghayapi jata maya dridhamatihi hitva vadyam imam lokam ganta majjanatamasi. By service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, he goes on to become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material worlds. Even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Matirmaya nibadheyam navipadyeta karhichit praja sarga nirodhepi smritischa madanugrahat. Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time. Even at the time of creation as well as at the time of annihilation, your remembrance will continue by my mercy. Madanugrahat, this is very important. Unless the Lord's mercy is there, we cannot be even successful in our bhakti yoga process. We should never think that, I am chanting, so I am a big devotee. No. Krishna does not consider us big devotee. We may consider ourselves big devotee. So, and even if we do our bhakti properly, Krishna is not obliged. Krishna is independent always. He is not obliged. By my mercy, Krishna said, then your remembrance will continue. So if I'm unable to remember Krishna, or I'm having some disturbance in my mind and I'm not as inspired as I was before, that means I'm offensive. I'm offensive. Uh, Something I have done by which I have lost the mercy of the Lord. And that is the reason for my despondency. Uh, so this is how we should evaluate. And if the mercy comes back, if we atone for our offenses and sincerely repent, then the Lord might again bestow His mercy, and then we will again feel enthusiastic in devotional service. If we want to have it our way in devotional service and not the Lord's way or His devotees' way, then we are primarily walking the path of devotion with offenses. we want to serve the Lord in our own way. That is not possible. The Lord won't allow that. I should follow the dictates of the Lord and the dictates of His sincere devotees. See, this is what happened. एतावदुक्त्वा परराम तन्महद् भूतं नभो लिङ्गमलिङ्गमीश्वरम् अहं च तस्मै महतां महीयसे शीर्ष्णावनामं विदधेऽनुकम्पितः. Then that supreme authority, personified by sound and unseen by eyes, but most wonderful, stopped speaking. Feeling a sense of gratitude, I offered my obeisances unto him, bowing my head. So, this is how Narada Muni sustained his devotional life later on, and he went on to become Narada Muni. Thus, I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of the material world. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are all benedictory. So doing, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied and without being proud or envious. This is success. This is success of life. This is how to live. नामान्यनन्दस्य हतत्रपः पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् गां पर्यटं स्तुष्टमनागतस्पृहः कालं प्रतीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरः. Another example of this is Ajamil. When he saw the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas came, and then they had this conversation, and after that Yamadutas went away, and then the Vishnudutas, he bowed down to them and they disappeared. They could have said, please chant or something. No, they just disappeared. And he was just, he was woken up from the illusion, and he hankered so seriously for Krishna, and then after very soon the same Vishnudutas came and picked him up and took him back to Vaikuntha. So they do this to increase, just like Parikshit Maharaj. In the womb of his mother Uttara, Vishnu came and protected him. That's why he's called Vishnurata. He was protected even in the womb. Why could he not be protected when the Brahmana boys cursed him? He could have easily been protected, but Parikshit Maharaj did not ask for that protection. This is devotee. Parikshit Maharaj had such great relationship with Krishna because his own grandfather was the most confidential friend of Krishna, Arjuna. And in the womb of his mother, he was protected by Krishna personally. That kind of connection Parikshit Maharaj had. I mean, if you are in danger, If you know somebody very influential or somebody very powerful, you will go and take his help, right? But you see, Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed by that Brahmana boy, he did not retaliate for a few reasons, at least couple. One thing is, he did not want to, primarily, he did not want to um, disturb the Lord for his own material body. Oh, Krishna, please save my body. I'm cursed now. Uh, and I can always justify. Parishit Maharaj could have always justified his claim of saving, because you know what, Krishna, you saved me because this Brahmana boy cursed me. Because you know what, if I go away, then who is another king who will take care of this world? And then again, Kali Yuga will enter, so people will suffer. So it is necessary that I should be here. Therefore, you please protect me. Parikshit Maharaj could have termed it in a way that as if it is service. Although there is an innate feeling that actually I want to be saved, I may mask it as a service to Krishna, when actually what I want is my own sense gratification. So in devotional life, we should be very, very careful, and this is something which we can always fall into a trap in all the time, at all stages in our devotional life. In a myriad ways, this can happen. And therefore, we should be very, very careful in not asking for anything from the Lord. And Parikshit Maharaj showed that by example. He did not ask anything from the Lord. Plus, Brahmana boy cursed him. He was immature. And Parikshit Maharaj was a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is far more powerful than a Brahmana. Parikshit Maharaj could have counter-cursed him. He did not. Why? Because he wanted to show respect to the Brahmanical community. So that is because Brahmanical community is dear to Krishna, so therefore he wanted to show respect. So he did not counter-curse that Brahmana, although he could have easily done so. And if that's the will of the Lord, if the times have to change and the Kali Yuga has to enter, that's it. But, and this is something I wrote in my poem, Vyasa Puja offering to Prabhupada, I think in 2023. I will see if I can just pull that up quickly. I wrote about this. No, this is 2022, sorry, maybe. Wow. 2 years ago? Okay. You see, this is something I wrote. You know what, it'll take time for me to show it on the screen. I'll just read it. I'm reading from the third stanza of that poem that I wrote. The movement, I'm referring to the Hare Krishna movement, the Krishna consciousness movement. The movement does not keep cruising on autopilot. Powerful time will devolve it into a total riot. Krishna spoke to the sun god and the science was handed down. But in the course of time, it all went crashing down. So, sakale nehama evam parampara praptam imam rajarsho viduhu sakale nehamahata yogo nashtah parantapa. So that was what I was alluding to here. Krishna spoke to the sun god and the science was handed down in the parampara. But in the course of time, it all went crashing down. A sadhu protects millions from the burning material contact. So Maya relentlessly pursues to destroy the sadhu's impact. So sadhu protects millions of people from the burning material contact, samsara davanala. So Maya relentlessly pursues to destroy the sadhu's impact. So otherwise Maya cannot have its influence, if the sadhu has such a powerful influence over the world. But during the physical presence, but during his physical presence, she cannot at all thrive, just as Kali couldn't thrive when Parikshit was alive. So, when Parikshit was alive, Kali couldn't thrive. So, Maya cannot thrive when in the physical presence of the sadhu. Maya then employed an ever so evil ploy. She had him removed by the curse of a Brahmana boy. This is about Parikshit Maharaj. What happened? Maya then employed an ever so evil ploy. She had him removed by the curse of a Brahmana boy. Vishnu had saved him once and could have done it again, but Parikshit did not ask him, for he knew he couldn't be slain. That's the other thing. He knew that the curse of a Brahmana boy actually does not disturb anything. It cannot kill me because I'm not the body. He was sure about that. So Vishnu had saved him once and could have done it again, but Parikshit didn't ask him, for he knew he couldn't be slain. But who would protect the people from the degraded age in the absence of the king who was also a sage? Rajarshi. A king by profession, a sage by character. So who would protect the people from the degraded age in the absence of the king who was also a sage? Parikshit solved this dilemma with a masterful maneuver. He released a weapon that would negate the material fever. What did he do? No, he did not release his sword from its sheath, nor did he release an arrow from his bow. It was the Bhagavatam he released from Shuka's lotus mouth that would dissipate all darkness by its immeasurable glow. He released the Bhagavatam from Shuka's mouth, not an arrow from his bow, not a sword from its sheath. The Bhagavatam was the weapon. And dissipate all darkness by its immeasurable glow. What is that? Verse 1343. Krishna swadhama upagatem dharma jnanadibhe saha kalau nashtadrishamesha puranarko dhunodhitaha. Puran arka, like the sun, this Puran will light up this entire world. Thus he became immortal and saved the people forever, although Maya tried her best to keep them under her cover. These dirty tricks of Maya are known to pure devotees, so they write books and guide all souls with ease. So they immortalize themselves, the pure devotees, by writing books. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he was being threatened that he will die within 7 days, so Kali wanted to rush in. So if Parikshit is gone in a week's time, then Kali can enter full swing. But Parikshit Maharaj knows for sure that he cannot be slain. He also knows for sure that the body will definitely go away. So either after 7 days or after 70 years, he has to go. So what did he do? He released the Bhagavatam from Shuka's lotus mouth. And that's what is saving us even today. Even today, the Bhagavatam is saving the people of the Kali Yuga because of Parikshit Maharaj's masterful maneuver. He did not retaliate, he did not do anything. He could have done easily, but he did not do it. He did a far more powerful move, much more far-sighted, which would save people in thousands and thousands of years into the future. So this is how this is done. I mean, pure devotees, Parikshit Maharaj, he saw the Lord in the womb, and then he was always thinking of the Lord. And then even when the curse happened, he just heard about the Lord all 7 days. And then that became the saving grace of not only him, but now millions and billions of people. And in the future, it will continue to do so. So, of course, we've gone in a huge rabbit hole in this one, but it's, I think, very important for us to recognize, right? Coming back all the way. This 197. Mleccha jati mleccha sevikori mleccha karma go brahmana drohi sangha amar sangam. So our association, well, what kind of people, that creates our character, and that's how we will be known as. And from there we of course went in a huge rabbit hole. But coming back here, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami considered themselves like this, because association is very important. That defines us. In fact, there is an English proverb. It says that you tell me who your five closest friends are, then I'll tell you who you are. So that means what kind of company we keep speaks a lot about us. Because not because, oh, we chose that company, therefore we are to be judged. Well, not just that. How the company influences you, that's what is the real thing. So we have to keep ourselves with devotees. So today, actually the first verse of today. Now we're already 1 hour into the class. मोर कर्म मोर हाथे गलाए बांधिया कुविषय विष्ठा करते दिया छे फैलाया. Kuvishaya Vishtha Garte, this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke upon. Let's see. The two brothers, Sakar Malik and Dabir Khas, very humbly submitted that due to their abominable activities, they were now bound by the neck and hands and had been thrown into a ditch filled with abominable stool-like objects for material sense enjoyment. Okay? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You see how humble they are. And they're teaching us how to be humble. And not just teaching us how to be humble, they're also representing us. What is our real position? When they are saying that we are in this ditch of abominable stool-like objects for material sense enjoyment, actually they're pure devotees. They saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they could recognize he's Krishna himself. But they said like that so that we will learn what is our position. Because, Upadesho hi murkhanam prakopaya nashantaye. When we are given advice, if somebody tells us, you are a fool, you are like a worm in the stool, you are just enjoying the stool like object for material sense gratification. You are a worm in the stool. If somebody says us like that, tells us like that, we will be offended. Therefore, the pure devotees, to teach us actually how to think like Vaishnava, not just to teach us, that's how they actually think. And by them expressing their thoughts, we can learn how we should think. Let me see if that verse I can find. Vedo Puranam Kavyam Cha. Prabhur Mitram Priyeva Cha. See? Cannot. This is Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, if I'm not wrong. You know what? I will actually bring that book and I'll read the verse. 1 second. Okay, here you go. I don't know if you can see this. That's not clear. That's a little better. Okay, yeah, I think that you can read. वेदाः पुराणं काव्यं च प्रभुर्मित्रं प्रियेव च बोधयन्तीति हि प्राहुस्त्रिवृद्भागवतं पुनः. It is said that the Vedas instruct like a master, the Puranas instruct like a friend, and the poetic works instruct like a lover, but the Srimad Bhagavatam does all the three. So Kavyam, so the pure devotees, when they, Veda, the Vedas instruct us like a master. should do like this is right, that is. So in that way, the Puranas instruct like a friend in a nice way. And then, I mean, nice way in the sense, telling stories about other devotees, how they are, how they have um, how they became successful by devotion to the Lord. Whereas Vedas say you have to become devotee of the Lord. Of course, that is also very hard to find. I mean, because the language of the Vedas, they're a bit not so direct, and it's authoritative. Like, do this is an order. To say that, hey, there is this person who has done this and achieved this result. That's nice, right? That's how a friend would speak. So, in Bhagavad Gita, for example, it's Gita Upanishad. So Krishna is instructing Arjuna. This is how a devotee is. This is how you should act. You get up and fight. This and that. So he's like a master is instructing. Whereas in the Bhagavatam, it is like a friend. The Puranas, they instruct like a friend. Oh, this is what happened. This devotee did this, and that's how he became a devotee. Whereas Kavyam means the songs of the pure devotees, like Vaishnavacharya's songs, poems. They instruct like a lover, and they invoke the most spiritual feelings. Because when somebody says, I'm so fallen, and if you see all of Yamunacharya's shlokas in Stotra Ratna, and if you see the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually took a lot from Yamunacharya, his mood. Madhavendra Puri also prayed like that to the Lord, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote so many songs, and even Narottam Das Thakur. I am so fallen, I don't have any love. I want to love you, my Lord. In that way, like a lover. And seeing that, we will be inspired. So in this way, that's why this verse is there. Veda Puranam Kavyam cha Prabhur Mitram Priyeva cha Bodhayanti hi Prahus Trivrit Bhagavatam Punah. Bhagavatam does all three because there is the orders by the Lord, by the devotees, like for example, Vidura instructing Dhritarashtra, leave home, don't be like a dog here. So there are that kind of words. Then there are, descriptions of pastimes where, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking Narad Muni what happened, how Prahlad Maharaj became a great devotee, and, his pastime. And, like Parishit Maharaj asking Shukadeva Goswami. And then Shukadeva Goswami was narrating all those things that happened, and that's like a friend. And then there are prayers by devotees to the Lord, and how they're so fallen, and all these things. In all three ways, the Bhagavatam kind of teaches us. Bodhayanti iti hi prahu trivrit Bhagavatam punah. So, so these kind of words, when they use, they are feeling it. They're also teaching us how to think, so that we can become proper devotees. So purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained Kuvishaya as follows. Because of the activities of the senses, we become subjected to many sense gratificatory processes and are thus entangled by the laws of material nature. This entanglement is called Vishaya. When the sense gratificatory processes are executed by pious activity, they are called Suvishaya. The word Su means good, and Vishaya means sense objects. When the sense gratificatory activities are performed under sinful conditions, they are called Kuvishaya, bad sense enjoyment. Now, good sense enjoyment, for example, you can have a nice life, you're having a honest occupation, and you're having your money and having a comfortable life. You're enjoying your things. Now, the guy who is addicted to drugs and all the kind of bad things, bad company, he's also kind of enjoying. Otherwise, if there is no rasa, if there is no some kind of a taste, he will not remain there. That's like a pig. He finds taste in garbage, and therefore he remains in garbage. So there is some taste there, definitely. So, but for those who have a higher taste, they will see what is this taste, like garbage. But for the person in garbage, he is very happy. So the person who is drinking and addicted to drugs or something like that, they are happy with that. The donkey is happy being kicked by the she-ass for sex when it goes for sex. So he's happy with that. So everybody is enjoying. But some are su, some are ku. But all are vishaya. Suvishaya, kuvishaya. So in either case, either kuvishaya or suvishaya, these are material activities. As such, they are compared to stool. In other words, such things are to be avoided. To become free from suvishaya and kuvishaya, one must engage himself in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, we should not perform karma or vikarma, but we should perform akarma, which is explained in Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, 17th and 18th verses. One must engage himself in transcendental loving service of Krishna, Supreme Personality of God. This is akarma. Akarma means, karma means sanctioned activity, pious activity, which gives you some good result in this material world. That is to encourage those less intelligent people to do at least something good. And then there are vikarma, sinful activities, and such a person is he goes through suffering, but still, this is the case with conditioned soul. He will adapt somehow or other. He will adapt. Narakasthopi deham vai napumam tyaktumichhate narakyam nirvritau satyam devamaya vimohitah. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:35. What is that? The conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life. While deluded by the covering influence of the illusory energy, he feels little inclined to cast off his body. Even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment, he feels little inclined, hardly he feels inclined to cast off his body. You see, for example, when we become sick, when we have a health problem or something, we try our best to remain in this body. We go to the hospital, we go to the doctors, we go to second opinion, third opinion, fifth opinion, and we try all kinds of medicines, alternative medicines, this and that. We'll do anything to save this body. Now, a devotee may also do the same thing. Some devotee, of course, the pure devotees, they're not interested. But it is the duty of other devotees to serve the devotee and, have the body preserved for longer so that we can seek that person's association. That's how a disciple should actually think of the Guru when he is passing away. And he should mourn the disappearance of the Guru, although he knows that the body, the soul doesn't die. That's the first thing we learn. But when the spiritual master disappears, one must mourn. That loss of association, it's a huge thing. And it has spiritual significance. That seriousness of separation one may feel for the spiritual master or even Siksha Guru, that will propel the disciple forward in his spiritual life in the physical absence of the spiritual master. How seriously he takes the order of the spiritual master, that much he will progress. So anyway, this is the thing, conditioned soul is satisfied in his own life. So even if he is in the Kuvishaya, he is happy. Like the Indra became pig by the curse of a sage. And when the curse was over, Brahma came down and said, "Hello, Indra, come. Enough. Now you have to get back to being Indra. There is so much work to do there. Enough of your pig nonsense." Then the pig, Indra as a pig, he was saying, "What? Heaven? No, this is heaven. I'm in heaven already. I am, how many big family I have, huge responsibilities I have. I cannot." He was unwilling to come and take his post back in the heaven. Imagine, any sage who takes to some tapasya, Indra will send somebody, some Menaka or somebody, to spoil that sage's meditation. Anyway, every time he does that. That much he was attached to his post as Indra, because he was thinking, if that sage becomes so powerful, then he may come and dethrone me. So let me disturb that sage and let him go away. Let him fall down and then he will not disturb me, my position. That much he was attached to his own position. But when he became pig, he didn't want to go back. He said, "This is heaven." What is that? Janani Janma Bhumi Swargadapi Gariyasi. Motherland, the more what is that? Desirable than heaven. Swargadapi gariyasi. That kind of philosophy. So he feels little inclined to cast off his body even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. So this is Kubishaya. So both are happy. Suvishaya, Kuvishaya, both are happy. But happiness means materially. They're actually suffering, but they think they're happy. Right? To become free from Suvishaya and Kuvishaya, one must engage himself in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The activities of devotional service are free from the contamination of material qualities. Therefore, to be free from the reactions of Suvishaya and Kuvishaya, one must take to Krishna consciousness. In that way, one will save himself from contamination. In this connection, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung, कर्मकांड ज्ञानकांड केवल विषय भांड अमृत बोलिया जेवा खाए नाना जोनी सदा फिरे कदर्य भक्षण करे तार जन्म अधः पाते जाए. Suvishaya and Kuvishaya both fall under the category of karmakanda, platform of activity. There is another kanda, platform activity called jnanakanda, or philosophical speculation about the effects of Suvishaya and Kuvishaya, with the intention to find out the means of deliverance from material entanglement. On the platform of Jnanakanda, one may give up the objects of Kuvishaya and Suvishaya, but that is not the perfection of life. Perfection is transcendental to both Jnanakanda and Karmakanda. It is on the platform of devotional service. If we do not take to devotional service in Krishna consciousness, we have to remain within this material world and endure the repetition of birth and death due to the effects of Jnanakanda and Karmakanda. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur says, Nana Joni Sada Fire Kadarya Bhakshan Kare. Kadarya Bhakshan Kare means anything and everything I eat. Tara Janma Adhaha Pate Jai. One travels throughout various species of life and eats all kinds of nonsense. Thus, he spoils his existence. A man in material existence and attached to Kuvishaya or Suvishaya is in the same position as that of a worm in stool. After all, whether it be moist or dry, stool is stool. Now, we cannot say that dry stool is better than moist stool. Stool is stool. So, Suvishaya is better than Kuvishaya. No, both are Vishaya. Similarly, material activities may be either pious or impious, but because they're all material, they are compared to stool. Worms cannot get out of stool by their own endeavor. Similarly, those who are overly attached to material existence cannot get out of materialism and suddenly become Krishna conscious. Attachment is there, as explained by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30. Matirna Krishne paratah svato va मिथो भिपद्येत ग्रह व्रतानाम अदांत गोभीर विशतांत मिश्रम पुनः पुनश्चर्वित चर्वणानाम. Those who have made up their minds to remain in this material world and enjoy sense gratification cannot become Krishna conscious. Because of their attachment to material activity, they cannot attain liberation either by the instructions of superior persons or by their own endeavor, or by passing resolutions in big conferences. Because their senses are uncontrolled, they gradually descend to the darkest regions of material existence to repeat the same process of birth and death in desirable or undesirable species of life. So, in other words, we cannot come out of this Kuvishaya Garta or Suvishaya Garta by our own endeavor. We need the mercy of the pure devotee who is strong because he has the mercy of Krishna. Ama uddharite bali nahi tribhuvane patit pavan tumi shabe tuma vine. No one within the three worlds is sufficiently powerful to deliver us. You are the only savior of the fallen souls, therefore there is no one but you. Stotra Ratna Yamunacharya prays very much like this, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur also prayed very much like this. We are the most fallen, and your name as Patit Pavan will be known far and wide if you deliver us. So please do. In fact, our claim is first. because we are the most, you are known as Patit Pavan, and we are the most fallen. So you should save us first. আমা উদ্ধারিয়া যদি দেখাও নিজ বল পতিত পাবন নাম তবে সে সফল. If you simply deliver us by your transcendental strength, then certainly your name will be known as Patit Pavan, the savior of the fallen souls. सत्य एक बात कहूँ सुनो दयामय मोविनु दयारु पात्र जगते न होय. Let us speak one word that is very true. Plainly hear us, O merciful one. There is no other object of mercy within the three worlds but us. Please save us. मोरे दया करी करो स्वदया सफल अखिल ब्रह्मांड देहुक तुम्हार दया बोला. We are the most fallen, therefore by showing us your mercy is most successful. Let the power of your mercy be exhibited throughout the entire universe. So let your fame be spread, they are saying, by you showing mercy upon us, because we are your actual recipients of mercy, because we are the most fallen. This is, I think, Stotra Ratna. Yes, Yamanacharya. See, he's actually quoting Yamanacharya here. नमृषा परमार्थमेव मे शृणु विज्ञापनम् एकमग्रतः यदि मे न दयिष्यसे तदा दयनीयस्तव नाथ दुर्लभः. Let us submit one piece of information before you, dear Lord. It is not at all false, but is full of meaning. It is this. If you are not merciful upon us, then it will be very, very difficult to find more suitable candidates for your mercy. This verse is from Stotra Ratna 47 by Sri Yamanacharya. He is the spiritual master of Ramanujacharya. आपने अयोग्य देखी मने पान क्षोभा तथापि तुम्हार गुणे उपजय लोभा. We are very depressed at being unfit candidates for your mercy, yet since we have heard of your transcendental qualities, we are very much attracted to you. वामन जय छे चांद धरी ते चाहे करे तय छे ए वांछा मोर उठोए अंतरे. Indeed, we are like a dwarf who wants to capture the moon. Although we are completely unfit, a desire to receive your mercy is awakening within our minds. This is again Yamanacharya, if I'm not wrong. This has to be by Yamanacharya. Yeah, 43. This is quoted many times by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada also. भवन्तमेवानुचरन् निरन्तरः प्रशान्त निःशेष मनोरथान्तरः कदाहमैकान्तिक नित्य किङ्करः प्रहर्षयिष्यामि सनाथ जीवितम्. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? All unfit masters we are serving in this material world, and it's temporary service. But here he's saying, when shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? In this world, people serve masters, but they always complain about the masters also. He does this, he does that. They have something to complain about. But to be actually proud of such a master is very rare, and permanently and eternally. That can only happen with Krishna. He is the most fitting master. Purport. In his teachings to Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has declared every living entity to be an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the constitutional position of all living entities. Just as a dog or servant is very much satisfied to get a complete and perfect master, or as a child is completely satisfied to possess a competent father, so the living entity is satisfied by completely engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord. He thereby knows that he has a competent master to save him from all kinds of danger. Unless the living entity comes to the guaranteed protection of the Supreme Lord, he is full of anxiety. This life of anxiety is called material existence. To be completely satisfied and devoid of anxiety, one must come to the position of eternally rendering service to the Supreme Lord. This verse is also from the Stotra Ratna 43 by Sri Yamunacharya. I have not seen the whole Stotra Ratna. I need to get a hold of Stotra Ratna. शुनि महाप्रभु कहे सुनो दाबिर खास तुम्ही दुई भाई मोर पुरातन दास. So it's interesting. Translation. After hearing the prayer of Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Dabir Khas, you two brothers are my old servants." This is, that means they are actually eternal servants of the Lord, and the Lord remembers. Puratan, old servants, means since time immemorial, you have been my eternal servitors. And this is very much similar to when Krishna says that I spoke this to Sun God, this Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna asks, how is that possible? Then Krishna answers in this way. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. He did not even answer that, Okay, let's see Arjuna's question, you see. Krishna just said that, I spoke this to Sun God, and Sun God spoke to his son, and his son, like that. It came down. Arjuna Vacha. Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah katham etad vijaniyam tvamadho proktavaniti. The sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you, by millions of years. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? He did not. Then how did Krishna answer? He did not say, in that yuga, I went there, he was doing this and I told him and at this place. No, you know what he said? How do I know that you were there and you were talking to him? Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. In a previous birth I spoke to him. And how do I remember? Well, many, many births both you and I have passed. In fact, you have also been there. You were also there when I spoke to Sun God. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. You're asking me this question, that when did I speak? You forgot when I spoke, because you were there as well. We both were in our previous birth. I spoke to him. I remember it. You don't. So, here he's again saying, my dear Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, you two brothers are my old servants. In fact, every one of us are his old servants, eternal servants. We have relinquished him. And now we are here. But we're all his servants. But especially Rūpa and Sanātana, they are not like ordinary people. They are sent by Krishna for fulfilling his mission. So, next, this is a very important verse. What is the time? 9:40. Wow. Okay, we'll just do. आजी होते दुहार नाम रूप सनातन दैन्य छाड़ तोमा दैन्य फाटे मोर मन. My dear Sakar Malik, from this day your names will be changed to Srila Rūpa and Srila Sanātana. Now please abandon your humility, for my heart is breaking to see you so humble. Purport. Actually, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's initiation of Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. They approached the Lord with all humility, and the Lord accepted them as old servants, as eternal servants, and He changed their names. It is to be understood from this that it is essential for a disciple to change his name after initiation. Shankhachakradyurthapundra dharanadhyatmalakshmanam tannamakaranam chaiva vaishnavatvam mihochyate. After initiation, the disciple's name must be changed to indicate that he is a servant of Lord Vishnu. The disciple should also immediately begin marking his body with tilak, urdhvapundra, especially his forehead. These are spiritual marks, symptoms of a perfect Vaishnava. This is a verse from the Padma Puran, Uttarakhanda. It will be even nicer if there is the actual chapter and verse number. Maybe we can find it online. I think it should be possible. A member of the Sahajya Sampradaya does not change his name. Therefore, he cannot be accepted as a Gaudiya Vaishnava. If a person does not change his name after initiation, it is to be understood that he will continue in his bodily conception of life. So, devotees, when they change their name, don't just use that name in the temple. Of course, we understand that in the official documents, in your passport and everything, you still have to use your um, birth name. But as much as possible, introduce your spiritual name as your name. And also, one has nowadays social media handles. One should change those also to reflect. No one may think, oh, then people will think, my relatives will think this, think that. You're not living for them. That's the whole point of initiation. Initiation is to become a servant of Krishna, and they have to eventually accept you as that. Don't live for them. They're going to save you from birth and death cycle. No, Krishna is going to save you. So be proud of your initiation, and actually display your initiation name in your WhatsApp, in your social media handles, in your email. Make a new email address. So what? You can always make a new email address. Because even when somebody actually reads that name, he is becoming Krishna conscious. So we should adopt it wholesale as much as possible. दैन्य पत्र लिखी मोरे पाठाले बार बार शे पत्र द्वारा जाने तुम्हारा व्यवहार. You have written several letters showing your humility. I can understand your behavior from those letters. So because they have said, oh, we are Neech Jati, Neech Sangi, Patita Adhama. We are most fallen, we are associated with fallen people. They were saying all these things. We are Brahmana Drohi, Go Brahmana Drohi. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have written several letters showing your humility. I can understand your behavior from those letters. So this is another important thing, that if someone has devotional inclinations, even though however fallen he may be, he should be helped to revive his Krishna consciousness. तुम्हार हृदय आमी जाने पत्री द्वारे तुमा शिखायते श्लोक पाठाइल तुम्हारे. By your letters I could understand your heart. Therefore, in order to teach you, I sent you one verse which reads as follows. परव्यसनिनी नारी व्यग्रापि गृहकर्मसु तदेवास्वादयत्यन्तर्नवसङ्गरसायनम्. If a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out her household affairs, but within her heart she is always relishing feelings of association with her paramour. How does this verse even apply to Rūpa and Sanātana? I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote this verse and sent them because they were writing letters to him, and he wrote this verse for them. And this verse says, if a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in her household affairs. But within her heart, she's always relishing feelings of association with her paramour, and she's planning for that, and she's hiding that up with her husband. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu send this, of all things? So this was a cryptic message, so that when others, even if others found this, they would not know what it means. But what it actually means is that we should take an example from that kind of a woman and engage in devotional service in a similar way. That we have to be engaged in worldly activities, and we should be doing it just like the wife is doing for the husband, appearing very nicely, engaged in household affairs. But in the heart, she's always thinking of the paramour and how to meet him and how to associate with him. So similarly, in our mind, in our heart, we should always think of Krishna while engaged externally in this world. So is Krishna asking us to cheat on our material relationships, just like the wife would cheat on the husband and have a paramour? Well, it's not exactly cheating. One must engage in this world because one is anyway there. One cannot just immediately. Of course, there are people who immediately walked away and became sannyasis, but we cannot imitate that, right? So this is an instruction for how to live in this world. So it is kind of transcendental cheating, you can say. So appear very, how to say, involved in material life, but actually not really involving. Make a show of involvement, but don't really involve. We have to become great actors when we are with devotees. And that is kind of explained here in Bhagavatam. ज्ञातयः पितरौ पुत्रा भ्रातरः सुहृदोपरे यद्वदन्ति यदिच्छन्ति चानुमोदेत निर्ममः. An intelligent man in human society should make his own program of activities very simple. If there are suggestions from his friends, children, parents, brothers, or anyone else, he should externally agree, saying yes, that is all right. But internally, he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled. So externally, he should behave in one way, and internally, he should be Krishna conscious. So I will become duplicitous. Are we becoming duplicitous by doing that? Well, no, because that is how we have to deal with this material world. Otherwise, we cannot deal with this material. If we have to deal with them, then we have to deal in this way. Just like, for example, this I read where maybe Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think so, but he said, Acharya, he said that we should associate with the worldly minded people just as we do when we go to a vegetable market. When we go to a vegetable market, we will talk a few things with those vendors, or somebody who's on maybe a regular purchaser, a customer in that market, and we may see them every week or something. And we say, hi, how are you? Oh, how's your wife doing? Or how is your family? What is happening? We may talk something. And we may even talk with the vendor sometimes, hey, how are you? How's your business going? Oh, he will say, oh, the business is not doing so good, his economy is not good. And, oh yeah, we talk a few things back and forth. But that's about it. We're not really involved in that person's life. We're not really, but we maintain cordial relations. So we have to not be seriously involved. But externally, do the duty, whatever is being done, whatever needs to be done, do it. But our real interest, just like when we go to the vegetable market, we're not really invested in their lives. We may ask some things here and there, and we may talk, and even we may give advice. Hey, I know this person, he can, he does this, maybe he can help. You can see this doctor, or you said your daughter's health is not good, maybe you can See this person, I know this person. He may even help, but he's not really interested so much. And that's all right. That's all right. You're not expected to be interested in every person's life in this world. We can't be. It's just impossible. But in one stroke, we can actually be interested in everyone. Because it may appear like, that is not good, right? I mean, yeah, it is limited that we can't involve in every person's life, but ultimately that's not so good if we can't be really involved in everyone's life. Because we need to help. And yes, I'm limited by my capacity to help. But if I deny someone some help, that is not so good, right? So we may think like that. So the best way to help the whole world is to preach Krishna consciousness in one stroke. That's why a devotee is actually interested in everyone's welfare, and he acts for their welfare. So that is the actual help. So that's why it is said in the family affairs, yeah, be busy. I mean, show that you're busy, because otherwise you will have noise from them. So, but you should understand that that's not real help for them. That's part of duty, yeah, fine. So real help is to actually make them Krishna conscious. In that you have to be really involved. That is the real involvement. And our own Krishna consciousness should be protected, and their Krishna consciousness should be protected as much as possible. But the material thing, well, whatever is bound to happen will happen. And a similar verse, slightly different, but kind of the same vein. This is spoken 553. ये वामयीशे कृतसौहृदार्था जनेषु देहं भरवार्तिकेषु गृहेषु जायात्मजरातिमत्सु न प्रीतियुक्ता यावदर्थाश्च लोके. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders. Nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. See how they behave with their family. Oh. इत्थं परिमृशन् मुक्तो गृहेष्वतिथिवद्वसन् न गृहैरनुबध्येत निर्ममो निरहङ्कृतः. Deeply considering the actual situation, a liberated soul should live at home just like a guest, without any sense of proprietorship or false ego. In this way, he will not be bound or entangled by domestic affairs. So all these verses point to a similar situation, similar instruction, which is, yes, we have to be, doing what is necessary in home. But that's it. Don't get involved too much, because that's not your real life. As much as people don't like to hear that, that's not our real life. Our real life is actually with God, with Krishna. That's our eternal life. So, in this temporary situation of family, we just get by and do our things, but really we have to be, and that's what Krishna says to Arjuna. Ma manusmara yudhya. Think of me and at the same time fight. How to do this? Paravyasanine nari. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मर युध्य च मयि अर्पित मनोबुद्धिर्मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So in this case, Arjuna is fighting on the order of Krishna. It may seem like material again, fighting for a kingdom or what, but actually, that's what the Lord wants. You should think of the Lord and then fight. So similarly, when we are in this world, we have our own battles, we have our own Kurukshetras. So we are dealing with our own challenges. We have to go through that as Krishna asks us to do so by this method of paravyasanini nari, vyagrapi grihakarmasu. Paravyasanini nari, vyagrapi grihakarmasu, tadevasvadayatyantar navasangarasayanam. So, if a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out her household affairs, but within her heart, she is always relishing feelings of association with her paramour. So, he wrote this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gauda nikata asite nahi mor prayojan, toma doha dekhite mor iha agaman. I really had no business in coming to Bengal, but I have come just to see you two brothers. Ei mor maner katha কেহ নাহি জানে সবে বলে কেনে আইলা রামকেলি গ্রামে. Everyone is asking why I have come to this village of Ramkeli. No one knows my intentions. ভালো হইল দুই ভাই আইলা মোর স্থানে ঘরে যাহা ভয় কিছু না করি হমানে. It is very good that you two brothers have come to see me, and now you can go home. Do not fear anything. জন্মে জন্মে তুমি দুই কিঙ্কর আমার, अच्छी रात कृष्ण तुम्हारे करिबे उद्धार. See, birth after birth you have been my eternal servants. I am sure that Krishna will deliver you very soon. এটা বলি দুহার শিরে ধরিল দুই হাতে, দুই ভাই প্রভু পদ নিলম নিজ মাথে. The Lord then placed his two hands on the heads of both of them, and in return they immediately placed the lotus feet of the Lord on their heads. दोहा आलिंगिया प्रभु बोलिल भक्त गणे, सबे कृपा करि उद्धार हो दुई जने. After this, the Lord embraced both of them and requested all of the devotees present to be merciful upon them and deliver them. दुई जने प्रभुर कृपा देखि भक्त गणे, हरि हरि बोले सबे आनंदित मने. When all of the devotees saw the mercy of the Lord upon the two brothers, they were very much gladdened, and they began to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hari Hari. Purport: Sri Narada Das Thakur says, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Peche Keba. Interesting. I was trying to find this line of Narada Das Thakur in the songs. I couldn't find. You know where it was? I'll take out. Ki Rupe. Wait, I'll take out it was. Ki Rupe Paibo Seva. This is a song by Narada Das Thakur. You know the actual line, how it sounds like? Here, always this line is said, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Paiche Keva. Unless one serves a Vaishnava, he cannot be delivered. So this line actually sounds different in Narottam Das Thakur's song. It's this song, I don't know if you can see this, Ki Rupe Paibo Seva. It's not so clear, but I think you can read that heading there. Ki Rupe Paibo Seva. And in the fourth verse, it is said, Ihare koriya joy chhadano na jaye, sadhu kripa vina ar nahi ko upay. This is the actual word. Ihare koriya joy chhadano na jaye, sadhu kripa vina ar nahi ko upay. And the meaning is that there is no way to defeat Maya or give her up unless one attain the mercy of the sadhus, the devotees. That's what I could find the nearest meaning of this exact line that Prabhupada always quotes, because there is no other line like that in Narottam Das Thakur's works, as far as I know. Maybe there is another line, but this is the closest I could find. This line, this song, because I wanted to learn the song, where this line was. I wanted to learn, so I was just searching. Finally, I found this one. So anyway, so Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Chhadya Vaishnav Seva Nistar Paiche Keba. Unless one serves a Vaishnava, he cannot be delivered. The spiritual master initiates the disciple to deliver him, and if the disciple executes the order of the spiritual master and does not offend other Vaishnavas, his path is clear. Consequently, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the Vaishnavas present to show mercy toward the two brothers, Rūpa and Sanātana, who had just been initiated by the Lord. When a Vaishnava sees that another Vaishnava is a recipient of the Lord's mercy, he becomes very happy. See? When a Vaishnava sees that another Vaishnava is a recipient of the Lord's mercy, he becomes very happy. Vaishnavas are not envious. If a Vaishnava, by the mercy of the Lord, is empowered by him to distribute the Lord's holy name all over the world, other Vaishnavas become very joyful. That is, if they are actually truly Vaishnavas. He is actually pointing at his god brothers, because his god brothers were not happy. Let's read that again. When a Vaishnava sees that another Vaishnava is a recipient of the Lord's mercy, he becomes very happy. Vaishnavas are not envious. If a Vaishnava, by the mercy of the Lord, is empowered by him to distribute the Lord's holy name all over the world, other Vaishnavas become very joyful. That is, if they are truly Vaishnavas. One who is envious of the success of a Vaishnava is certainly not a Vaishnava himself, but is an ordinary mundane man. Envy and jealousy are manifested by mundane people, not by Vaishnavas. Why should a Vaishnava be envious of another Vaishnava who is successful in spreading the holy name of the Lord? He's actually pointing to his god brothers, who are not happy when the Lord's name was preached in the Western countries by Prabhupada. An actual Vaishnava is very pleased to accept another Vaishnava who is bestowing the Lord's mercy. A mundane person in the dress of a Vaishnava should not be respected but rejected. This is enjoined in the Shastra. Upeksha. The word upeksha means neglect. One should neglect an envious person. A preacher's duty is to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friendships with Vaishnavas, show mercy to the innocent, and reject or neglect those who are envious or jealous. There are many jealous people in the dress of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement, and they should be completely neglected. So as Vaishnavas, we should not be envious or jealous of other Vaishnavas. In so many of our dealings, we do become jealous. That is if we are materially motivated. We should learn how to become nirmatsarata. Nirmatsara means nirmatsaranam satam. Devotees are nirmatsara. Matsara means envy. Nirmatsara means non-envious. So we should learn how to become non-envious. We just have to be trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. If we have some other motive, then we will become envious. Envy comes when somebody is interfering with my sense gratification. That's the only scenario where envy comes. Jealousy comes. When my sense gratification is being challenged by someone else, I become envious or jealous of that person. So in Krishna consciousness, there's no room for such things. So a person who's really Krishna conscious is not envious. Sometimes we think somebody is envious, but they're not. That is also there. Because of our own envy, we think that somebody else is envious of me. And also here, the envy should be judged according to how much one is envious of the Lord and envious of the spiritual master. You see, here, Prabhupada is saying that he's actually pointing to his own situation where his own god brothers are not happy that he spread the holy name of Krishna, and such envious people should be neglected. So, what is Prabhupada saying? Oh, because they're envious of me, therefore I should neglect them and my disciples should neglect them. Not exactly. That would be material, right? Because there will be so many people who are maybe envious of me, but I should not be bothered, right? Because we have learned this in the Bhagavad Gita. What did we learn? Mitra Ryudasina. Is it this one? No. Maybe I think 6-9. Yeah. Suhrin Mitra Ryudasina Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhushvapi Cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. So we have to be equal in what is that? Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. If one praises us or if someone insults us, we should be same, right? But we're related when somebody praises us, and we are angry when somebody insults us, when somebody becomes envious of us. So if Prabhupada is saying that, I have been successful by the mercy of the Guru Maharaj, he did not say it like that, but that's what he's pointing to. That he has been successful in his service to his Guru by preaching the holy name of Krishna all over the world, and most of his god brothers were envious of him. And such persons should be neglected. So, is he saying that, if somebody is envious of me, I should neglect that person? Well, to avoid any unnecessary, unpleasant dealings, yeah, you may neglect. One should not hate that person. But here, there is another higher principle that the Lord's holy name is being spread. Why are they not happy? It's an insult to the Lord. It's an offense to the Lord. It's an offense also to the order of the spiritual master. Because their spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, wanted Krishna consciousness to be spread in the Western countries. And if somebody is doing it, oh, our Guru's order is being fulfilled, they should be happy. Krishna's name is being spread, they should be happy. Our God brother is doing it, they should be happy. Because here, it's not Prabhupada's achievement that he was concerned, oh, they're not happy with my achievement, so neglect them. It is not a mundane achievement. It's an achievement of fulfillment of the order of the spiritual master. So, Prabhupada's position here is linked directly to the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, if they are envious of Prabhupada, that means they are also envious of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's order, and they are not really happy with Bhaktisiddhanta's order being fulfilled. They are not happy that Krishna's name is being spread. They are not happy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction that the name will be spread is happening. They don't have regard for anyone in the parampara by having no regard for the person, Prabhupada, who actually spread the holy name. So, it is much bigger than just a personal vendetta or something that Prabhupada had with them. Oh, they are not happy with my success and therefore we should all neglect them. That's not what he's saying. That will be very material. So when we are representing the parampara, when we are representing Krishna, when we are representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we are representing Vaishnavas, just like Hanuman's tail was set on fire when he first went to Lanka to look for Mother Sita, and he found her. And after that, his tail was set on fire. What did he do? As a sadhu, he could have just, oh, nothing happened. Anyway, that doesn't bother me. He could have just went into the sea and just extinguished the fire or whatever. What did he do? But what did he do actually? He burned the Lanka. Why? Because Hanuman did not go as just Hanuman on his personal mission. No, he came. His mission was on behalf of Lord Ram and Mother Sita. So he came as Ramadut Hanuman. So he wanted to show them that I, one monkey of Lord Ramachandra, after he set the whole Lanka on fire, this is what he wanted to actually show. I, one monkey in the Vanarasena of Lord Ram, can do this much damage. Imagine billions and trillions and gazillions of monkeys coming. Very soon, you have no chance. This is a warning to you. Lord Ram will come and that will be the end of you. I am just a tiny, tiny doot, a servant of Lord Ram, and I have done this. Don't try your hand at Mother Sita or with Lord Ram. That was the warning he wanted to give. So he was not concerned, oh, how dare you put my tail on fire, set my tail on fire, I'll burn. It was not just like a, impulsive, egoistic reaction. No. And what Prabhupada is saying today is also not just an impulsive, egoistic statement that, oh, we should just neglect them. The neglect is for those people who are envious of the Supreme Lord, who are envious of the Vaishnavas, who are envious of the spiritual master. That is the point. So there are many jealous people, reading on in the purport, there are many jealous people in the dress of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement, and they should be completely neglected. Completely. There is no need to serve a jealous person who is in the dress of a Vaishnava. And when we point out these things, they say, oh, we're doing Vaishnava Aparadh. Somebody is doing some nonsense. And somebody, when I commented on Gaur Gopal, for example, some people said that, oh, you are so envious of his success that way you are just commenting on him so that by using his name you will get some views on your YouTube channel and you'll get some subscribers. That's how you are just piggybacking on his popularity and you're just envious of him. Not in the least. If I was envious of him, I would admire him. I mean, admire his success, and I would try to follow what he's doing, and maybe try it in a clever way and a trickier way or something like that. That was not what I was doing. Condemning him. I'm not at all envious of his position. I don't want that. I don't want to be known as a stupid, brainless motivational speaker who cracks third-rate jokes. I don't want to be known as that. That's not what I aspire to. So I'm not envious of him. So I was exposing him. So when we do that, they say, oh, one person will say, oh, you're envious. Other person will say, oh, you're doing Vaishnava Aparadh. He's also preaching. What preaching is it? What preaching? What is the kind of preaching? That's not. You have to learn how to preach from the acharyas. Acharyas will teach you how to preach. To learn from Prabhupada, he went to the West. They did not know anything. He preached straight Krishna conscious philosophy. Here he is preaching to Indians who know, so you don't have to hide anything really. But still he is hiding and not talking about Krishna and saying some nonsense things. What is that? Is that how Prabhupada wanted us to preach? Really? Don't come and teach me this nonsense. So, so in this way we have to understand properly what is what. So you see, jealous person in the dress of a Vaishnava, Kalichela. When Narottam Das Thakur says Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Paiche Keva, he is indicating an actual Vaishnava, not an envious or jealous person in the dress of a Vaishnava. So I guess that should be the end of today's session. um, we'll read from next verse, from next session onwards. So I'll stop it here. Any questions or comments on this topic? Question: serving Lord in our own way is also sense gratification or not? Yeah. In the beginning, one is encouraged to serve as he can. But eventually, one has to mature and serve the Lord as he is ordered to do so. It would have been very comfortable for Prabhupada to just stay in Vrindavan and the Radha Damodar temple and pass his days. It would have been much more comfortable for him to do that. But for him to go across the world on a ship, suffering to heart attacks, on a freighter ship, it's not a comfortable ship at all. It's a cargo ship. It's not like a cruise. Oh, he had a cruise ride. No, no, no. He did not. He went on a cargo ship with all the cargo that was there on the ship. He was there. So it was not at all comfortable. And he went there, and he went there to a place where it's a complete culture shock. Imagine going for the first time at 70 years old with nobody on the other side that you can call your own. And he did that in severe cold at his age. You know how much courage you have to do that. That is Utsahan Nischaya Dhairya. We should take a page from that book of Prabhupada's surrender to his spiritual master and learn. At least we don't have such a severe circumstance, and therefore we have to serve according to what we are ordered by our Shiksha Gurus, by our Diksha Guru. That's how we will actually progress. Otherwise, if we just serve in our own way, then utpataya eva kalpate. We are creating a disturbance in the whole society. That's what we will do. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidham Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataya eva kalpate. That's what will happen. We'll create a disturbance. So one of the comments is, I think truly Vaishnavas will not be existing in the material sphere unless it is one of the acharyas from the parampara. One who is a sincere disciple is also a true Vaishnava. Yes, of course, the pure devotees are truly Vaishnavas, but those who are following the spiritual master are also truly Vaishnavas, especially seniors who have done much more service than ourselves. From them we should learn, and of course we should see whether they are instructing us according to Prabhupada's instructions, because that is where many so-called senior devotees, they manipulate because they are known as senior, and then they do anything they like. So we should check whether they are following Prabhupada. And sometimes we are not qualified to check. That's the other problem. Because we think we are following Prabhupada and they are not following Prabhupada. When in actuality, we are not following Prabhupada, they are following Prabhupada. That is also there. So in order for us to actually have a very clear, proper understanding of any situation, the real thing is the mercy of the Lord. Because when we don't have that mercy, we will be very convinced with our own opinion. And we will think that this is actually the Lord's opinion. This is the spiritual master's opinion. We think like that. Although it is our own contaminated, stupid opinion, which is very offensive to devotees, which is very offensive to the Lord. But we may think that that is true and that is what the Lord intends. We think we know the Lord very well. And we think we know our spiritual master very well. And we dare to offend those who are actually serving the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. So when you say truly Vaishnavas are only in the parampara, well, that is an actual statement of contamination and envy and non-recognition of those Vaishnavas who are actually worshipping the true pure Vaishnavas. So the sincere devotee of the pure Vaishnavas are actually also truly Vaishnavas, as long as they keep to that. So to deny them that label of true Vaishnavas, that's a statement of envy, where I think that I am correct and the true Vaishnavas are not truly Vaishnavas. So we should evaluate ourselves. Where am I actually? What am I doing? And what is my fault? I have to focus on that instead of trying to focus on other people's faults. I project my own faults on them and say that they're their faults. Actually, it's my own faults. So I have to be careful in that. Alright, I'll stop it here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Rūpa Goswami and Sanātana Goswami ki jai. Shad Goswami Vrinda ki jai. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.